This was an $800,000 a year financial job interview, but the man walked into the office wearing paint-stained, tattered clothes. The manager who recommended him was stunned, and the boss looked visibly disgusted. Facing everyone's stares, the man made no excuses and simply explained, "I couldn't change into a suit because I was detained overnight by the police for unpaid parking tickets." Looking at his resume, which listed only a high school diploma, the boss impatiently threw out a tricky question to quickly end the interview.
What would you say if a guy walked in for an interview without a shirt on? And I hired him. What would you say?
He must have had on some really nice pants.
Chris's humorous answer made everyone smile, and surprisingly, he won the internship. When he learned the 6-month internship paid nothing and he'd be competing against 19 top graduates for the only full-time position, his heart sank. For a homeless, jobless man, this was a dangerous gamble. Yet he still chose to chase his dream, because he couldn't forget the look of happiness on that stockbroker's face when he drove by in a red sports car. Chris had invested all his savings into bone density scanners, becoming the sole distributor in San Francisco. But the machines were too expensive, and no one wanted them. Financial struggles drove his wife to leave, leaving him to raise their son alone. To cut costs, he had to send his son to the cheapest daycare while he worked day and night trying to sell the scanners, yet still couldn't make ends meet. By chance, his Rubik's Cube solving skills caught the attention of the HR manager, but luck didn't last. The government seized his tax refund for unpaid parking tickets, leaving him broke. They were kicked out of their motel by the landlord. On their most desperate night, father and son slept in a subway bathroom. Chris propped his foot against the door, cradling his sleeping son in his arms. The next day, they moved into a church shelter, forcing Chris to race between work and lining up for a bed each night. At his lowest point, Chris chose to sell his blood and used the money to buy the damaged parts for the scanner. That night, he went to the hallway alone to repair the scanner. The kind doctor bought the scanner as promised, and the $250 income was enough to keep him from feeling anxious for the next month. Through sincerity and sharp instincts, he befriended a retired pension fund manager, leveraging that connection to sign 31 clients in the final month. On the last day of the internship, his boss called him into the office. An anxious Chris heard the words that would change his life.
Wear one tomorrow, though, okay? Because tomorrow's going to be your first day. If you'd like to work here as a broker. Would you like that, Chris?
All his perseverance and suffering were finally rewarded in that moment. Overwhelmed, he stepped outside the firm and clapped for himself through tears in the crowded street.